Hi, this is a reading for you. It is not attached to a zodiac sign nor a timeline. The intention is, if you come across this reading, it should benefit you in some way. That being said, let's get started. I've pulled a Celtic cross spread for you. This is interesting. I feel like you're coming to some clarity. You may be feeling particularly philosophical at this time, in a sense. I do kind of get a sense of restored hope, restored confidence, and perhaps clarity. You're crossed with the Ten of Cups. So I would say that, there's a sense of optimism here. There's a sense of things looking good. And I don't know, I feel like you've understood some kind of justice for yourself or some sort of direction you're being called. There also may be a communication that sort of brings about excitement. It's interesting though, because ahead of you, there's almost a sense of discretion or strategy. You almost sort of seem to maybe step outside of your box a little bit. You may explore some different options. It's interesting because there's almost this sharpness to it, or an advantage that you keep. It may even be like an unfair advantage in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. There might be communications. There might be choices to make. I feel like something is sort of rearranging in your foundations almost. I feel like the way you've seen things, or the way you see things, the way you think about things, the way you go about doing things has been changing a lot, has been evolving a lot. And I feel like in a lot of ways you're not really sure where it's going. It does seem to be, positive as far as how you're feeling. You may be drawn to the unorthodox or the unusual. Okay. I feel like you maybe have come to a clarity about something. You might be like ending something even. You got ideas on your mind. It seems like there's maybe new chapters opening up here in some way. There's almost a hold on this though, because I feel like you're sort of holding back or like holding on to certain things because, I don't know, maybe just not wanting to be like impulsive. You also might be like focused on saving money or something. You might, I don't know, like sort of debating how you feel about things socially, how you feel about like where you are in life and like how passionate you are about it. If that makes sense, like sort of rearranging, like just again, like how you're thinking about things, how you're looking at things, like do I even Like, do I fit where I am? Do I, is this my long term, or is there something else? Or am I just fooling myself? It almost feels like sort of existential questions. You might be very geared towards like materialism, but not in a flashy sense, even in just a sort of establishing home foundations. You may be crossed with people who are interested in you. It's also interesting because I feel like there's very different aspects or levels to you that you sort of like go in and out of. I'm hearing going up and down the ladder. Like there's entirely different aspects of yourself. Like you may be this way, but then you could easily shift to this, and you could easily shift to this. There might be like multiple facets to you. I do feel like you're gonna gain clarity ahead, and I feel like you might even like have some interesting communications. Also, there is kind of like a tricky energy to it, or like a trickster energy to it. I feel like you're very focused on like control also in an interesting way. And you might have someone here who like sort of meets you at that level, or on a level that is like cohesive with that. And I almost get the idea of sort of trying to learn, trying to evolve. And that is especially with the learning and growing, because like I'm seeing this like Page of Pentacles, and I'm sort of seeing him gaze off and like, how do I become this? How does this page become this king? There's definitely a shift in your perspective, or in just like how you're doing things. There could be pain here for someone. I don't necessarily think it's you. I don't feel like you're in pain. Maybe even exploring that shadow side of yourself. You might be planting seeds for things to grow. There could be significance in relationships. You also may have decisions. And, I feel like there's almost, I don't know, like wanting more for yourself, or wanting more from yourself even, or not feeling 100% about the options that you have, or like the cards you've dealt yourself, so to speak. And there's sort of debate around this. Yeah, a lot of this seems about sort of like reviewing what is best for you. I think you're very patient as well. Like, I don't feel like you're in a hurry. I feel like you're very patient in what you're considering here. I almost kind of get this idea of like you're enjoying sort of exploring your inner world. Like, maybe you don't mind being patient because there's something about contemplating all of this that you like. It's like you're stepping outside of the mundane within yourself. It's interesting. It's like sort of discovering this whole little world within yourself. And you know, it's almost like there's a choice that you don't necessarily want to make that could come of this. There does seem to be, you know, pain attached to this in some way. You know, you may have like different, yeah, there's like a debate here. And maybe this is, I don't know, whatever it is, I feel like you're going to go for it. There may be something sort of conflicting about it for you. Or conflicting about it through like a whole situation even. There may be like ill luck for someone around you. Not like getting ill, but like bad luck. I almost get the idea of people looking, you know, like being on different pages with people, looking in two different directions. Like maybe you're evolving in certain ways, and maybe you didn't even anticipate how you would evolve. Like maybe you're discovering new aspects of yourself. But there's different judgment calls here to make that do pose quite a burden or a heaviness to them that, you know, maybe in a lot of ways you're sort of realizing will have to be addressed. Because in some ways I feel like you're questioning if you're dishonest with yourself, or if you, you know, again, this sort of like existential look at everything, like, is this, you know, where you belong? Is it not where you belong kind of thing? This could be between like two people. It could be between two careers. Travel could be relevant. And in some ways, I feel like this brings justice to something. It feels very polarized, you know? It's sort of like a Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing, you know? But again, you know, I feel like there's very much a focus on increase, on growth, on being sturdy within yourself. You really have a focus on choosing wisely and moving wisely. being tactful or even being artful, I'm hearing. I feel like your financial circumstances may look up. There is sort of an, you know, a mix of energies around you though. Like, there might be like certain storms to weather or like storms to avoid. You know, because I get the idea of like almost feeling sort of repressed and trying to find ways to solve that. If you enjoy this reading, if it's resonating, feel free to like and subscribe. Yeah, there is sort of being on hold. There may be communications. Like, in a way, though, I feel like you know what you're doing. And there's sort of a process of gathering information here. But I do think that something pushes through the way that you want. And, you know, maybe it brings a lot of solutions to you that are needed. I would say this though, like, avoid ignoring a truth. Particularly about yourself. It kind of seems like, you know, even though this situation may be like less than formal or like sort of outside of the norm, it seems to create a very balanced situation for you in some way. But it could lead to like some tricky things to navigate for yourself. So I don't know, I feel like if you stay conscious and stay present, this could unfold quite nicely. You know, it's like you're starting to see things through a different lens or through a higher lens. Like it's a bigger perspective. It's a deeper perspective that what I'm kind of hearing is like not everybody like understands it. I mean, but you do. It works for you. That's the thing. Is like not everybody has to understand it. And not everybody has to agree with you, and you also don't have to like shout your views or your feelings or any of that, you know, like from the sky. I will say this though, make sure you don't get distracted, especially with like this sort of inner world exploration, because there definitely are responsibilities to tend to, and there are definitely a lot of things that you need to sort of be proactive with. So make sure you stay on track with all of that. I'm going to take this reading a bit further on my Patreon. So if you want to join us on Patreon, that's where all of my extended readings go, as well as exclusive content, live streams, artwork, and so on. That's available in the first link in the description below. I do take personal readings, which you can access through the shop on my website, also in the description below. I hope you have a great night, and I appreciate you being here.